Good morning, Istanbul rider. Heading off to work. And it's a beautiful day today. It's market day here. What does that mean? In this particular area, that entire street is turned into a big fruit, veg, meat, everything you can think market. Bobby! So as you can see, there it all is. Fruit and veg market. Nice repair there. Hold the glass in with a bit of duct tape. Oh, what a beautiful day. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I'm on my W8 hybrid, choking on dust and gravel. So, camera setup's getting there. Believe it or not, this microphone is a bit too good. The maximum setting for volume is 7. I'm a bit disappointed it's not 11, but 7. And as a result of how, well, I don't know, good the microphone is, I guess, and perhaps the windy conditions of my helmet, 7 is too sensitive, and not because of the wind, but because of my voice. It's me shouting, and it's like getting feedback or reverberation or whatever the term is. And as a result, I've been turning it down day by day. I've got a feeling it's going to have to go another notch. So that's a good thing, I'm happy about that. Again, external mic is set to 0 because the wind would completely ruin it. I checked, by the way, I imported the file into iMovie, the video file that is, and the what else? Lightworks, which is a semi-free tool you can get for Windows. And very nicely it shows the audio is 2 files, one for the internal, one for the external microphone. So potentially speaking, even if you did engage your external microphone, you could always disable it in software. the second audio track. So it's two separate audio tracks that doesn't interlace them on the device, which makes sense, but you just know it's as I said, it's a cheap camera. Maybe they just bring it out in one, but no, they've done a good job. Comes out in two audio files, and yeah, that's really cool. So I could always turn it on and then just exclude it via software. I guess what that kind of means is when you're at certain points where you do want to hear, in tunnels, at traffic lights maybe, something, I don't know, if you're shouting to somebody in a car, it will pick up what they're saying much better than the internal mic would. So that entire conversation should have been the other way around. Internal mic is internal to the device. External mic is external to the device. Of course, I'm using the external mic. I have it in my helmet. So I have the external mic set at 5 now, and the internal mic set at 0. So when you may want to turn the external mic up so that any interactions you have with people, actually you're picking up everything they're saying, because of course at that point in time you wouldn't actually be moving, or you're unlikely to be moving, and if you are moving it's got to be slow. So that might be useful for that. I'm going to have to think about it and see if I can be bothered with it. I'm still basically looking at what I'm going to do with my videos. So the first couple of videos I literally just brought them into iMovies, reduced the volume via sound editing, and added an intro, and that's it really. Obviously 30 minutes is quite a long time for a video, I think, especially when you're as boring as I am. So I'm not really sure how people are going to react to that. Plus, if I want good quality, as I said, you know, a 33-minute file or whatever, it's 6 gigabytes. It just takes too long to upload here. It takes over a day. If I reduce it to 720p, I think it's just over 3 gigabytes. I don't know. We'll see. I'm playing around with things. I don't know what all those people with GoPros are doing, because I mean this has got what, it's a 5 megapixel still camera on. If it's 5 megapixels, it's 5 megapixels, I'm guessing. But those GoPros are what, 10, 12 megapixels I think? Maybe more? 60 frames a second? Those files must be bloody huge. I should say as well, actually, by the way, the file is 3 gigabytes if I just copy it directly from the device. However, once it comes into iMovies or Lightworks, for some reason it seems to swell. The light doubles in size, I am not really sure. I've got a feeling I need to do a conversion to streamable format, and that will reduce the size of it somewhat. But on a Mac that means buying QuickTime Pro, which I really don't want to do. I guess I could put it on the PC and convert it there after I'm done in iMovie. A lot of fiddling to do. But I'll do a video at some point as well, actually, because what I did do is I have a Mac at work and I have a PC at home and a Linux box at home and a Unix box at home. So what I'll do is I will let you guys know a full set of free software I downloaded. the free software to edit your videos, to do special effects, to do audio, to do graphics. So GIMP, Lightworks, Wax, Blender, there's one more I can't remember right now, but they're basically all free or open source and allow you to do everything you can do in Photoshop or iMovie. And they're really good actually. They have a nice set of tutorials and you can do some really groovy stuff with it. I would definitely recommend having a look at those. On his mobile phone. Yeah, so once I've got everything sorted out, then I will do a little video on that, just showing people the software, where they can not how to use it. There are so many example videos out there to use it. They're just the little bits of kit you can download for free and their purpose. Video editor, effects editor, audio, doodah, logo, text, image converter, blah blah blah, all these kinds of things you can do. So for example, there's an effect I want when I'm riding along. If I notice something, it will make a sonar ping noise. It will put like a green square that fits around the vehicle and then ping it. So for example, let's say that car, the guy's on the mobile phone or he's swerving around, it will highlight that vehicle and then show it up. So I want to do little things like that, but that takes, as anybody who more experienced guys will tell you, it takes forever to do stuff like that. So you've got to get your setup, you know, cushy before you go. So I've got lots of those little effects and stuff which I've been working on already before I even got the camera. But the problem is, it's just the time it takes to do it. So you think about it, I've got 35 minutes of footage each way every day, minimum. That 35 minutes of footage is equates to like 3 to 4 gigabytes at 1080p, 30 frames a second. I then need to go through all that, pick out the bits I want, separate them out into clips, string them together with transitions and effects and text, and then add audio and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it takes a long time basically. So at the moment I'm kind of cheating and I'm just dumping half an hour video up, which I'm pretty sure is going to get like, you know, very little in terms of views, but God willing, it will be better. I was just thinking actually, I don't know about you guys, but there's this, when you're a motorcycle rider, there are a number of things you do in order to make yourself safer on the road, you know, defensive riding, reading the road ahead, you know, all these different combinations of things, your position on the road, your speed, your this, that and the other. Now, one of the things I notice, and I especially notice here actually, is vehicle profiling. What do I mean by that? Well, certain types of vehicles are inclined towards certain types of behaviour, and based on that you can actually brake beforehand or be less worried about braking. So driving down any of these roads, there are certain class of cars which I have to be extremely careful of, and those cars in this country at least turn out to be things like Renault Meganes, Audis, BMWs, VW Passats. So that's a four-door, fairly modern, almost like businessman's type of car. You have to be very, very careful of those here, because they are the ones who are almost 99% of the time on their phone. They are prone to erratic movements on top of that, even if they're not on the phone. And they're very poor at indicating and checking their mirrors. They go, unbelievable bursts of speed and changing of lanes. So you have to be really careful of those. So like I could be here, there'll be one to the left of me, and all of a sudden he'll just pull into this lane because he's decided he wants to go right. They don't look in their rear view mirrors, they don't, do anything normal. And so you have to be really careful. So in order to protect yourself and save yourself from accidents, basically what you'll do is you'll profile that video, you'll see that car there, and you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to slow down, I'm going to move over and be ready for emergency procedures. I'm trying to think what other cars there are I profile. So taxis, which are yellow here, you have to be very careful of. Also here you have various types of, we'll call them taxis, but like, transport, paid for transport, like this woman, she's on her phone and creeping forward. You have various people, vehicles for that. So you've got like the yellow one, and the yellow one is a private taxi which you have to pay to use. So the yellow one, which you pay to use, is a normal taxi. You then got things like these transit vans, and they're called dolmushes here. Now those dolmushes, again, these are private vehicles, but you pay like, so a taxi is like relatively expensive as it is in all countries, I guess. But a dolmush, it's a transit van which takes 6, 7, 8 people, 10 people, whatever, and so you really end up paying like a fraction of the price, 2-3 lira. So you end up paying a fraction of the price, so say 3 lira per person, depending on where you're going. Then you have, other than that, what do you have? You have, like this, it's not a transit van, it's a similar type of vehicle, but then it's like painted blue or something. It's a bigger version of a transit. It's made here, I think, and that's like a private bus again, and again, that has even more people on it. And then you've got the bigger buses, like proper normal metro buses. So you've got all these forms of transport. Every single one of those you have to profile as a danger to you. They are a risk, and you really have to be careful. And then these transits on the left, these are like private taxis for work. So they're taking people to work or to school. They're paid for by the companies. It's considered a benefit almost here. Those ones you have to be pretty careful of as well. I mean, you just profile them all as a risk, and then, very rarely do you get any issues. But when you come to a new country, man, you've got to remember that your profiling is not up to the local conditions, so you should definitely be aware of that. One of those things to think to yourself, okay, I'm coming to a new country, what are my risks? in riding. I don't speak the language, so I may not understand the signs. I'm used to driving on the opposite side of the road. I'm not 100% on the speed limit, so I don't know how the police react to motorcycles in this country. I don't know how motor vehicles react to motorcycles in this country. Some are very tolerant, others are not. What's the etiquettes involved, you know? But in normally policemen are pretty good about letting us past, but this guy is all over the place. By the way, just in case we didn't get it last time, there's the horse and carriage. So yeah, in the foreign country you have to be a member of all of these things as well. You may think, oh no, I know how to profile vehicles, but of course it's different depending on the country you're in. Is that policeman there? There he is. Take it easy. A policewoman. Here we are, back up to our favourite bridge. Yes, so vehicle profiling. In any country you're in, you do it, I guess. So, what are the profiles that you guys have? So there's one of those dolmushes I was talking about, so like a taxi van. That one just happens to be yellow. That's not typical of them, but they're regulated by the government basically. They have fixed routes. And actually, one of the really nice things here about here using public transport is that whatever transport you're on, whether it's like a metro bus like that one up there, or one of those private things, they will all, as long as it's along their route, stop and let you off anywhere you want. Which is really nice. And it's not if you're a road driver, because you've got these bloody buses stopping everywhere, but as a utiliser of that form of transport, it's absolutely fantastic. But also the other problem is that when you get on those forms of transport, it's a bit like I've never been to Tokyo, but I've seen lots of movies, obviously, as we all have, of like the Tokyo subway system, and I've had it described to me by friends where basically it's just like, it's a free-for-all basically, you know, people are just elbowing their ways on, shoving themselves in like a sardine can. It's very similar to that here on public transport. I mean, literally, like, you are on, let's say you've managed to get yourself onto the bus. There is no concept of a queue. Everybody kind of just like pushes themselves in pretty much. Once you're on, and you leave that bus stop, and you're thinking, okay, this bus is bloody full. The next bus stop, there's 20 people waiting. All 20 of those people will get on the bus. I'm telling you. And you think, how in the hell is it possible? The next stop comes along, there's 10 people, they get on the bus as well. I mean, I don't know what it is, it's like buses, public transport here in Turkey, I think they must be made by Doctor Who. Some kind of TARDIS technology that allows all of those people to get on. There is zero concept of personal space on a bus like that. I mean, in Europe there's some level of distance that must be maintained, but no. Once you're in Turkey, that's it. You know, they're getting on the bus. So I don't blame them. Everybody wants to get home. You don't want to be sat on the side of the road. So it's quite, in a lot of, as a user of that form of transport, then it's great in a lot of ways, but it's just getting used to it all. These taxi drivers, you have to be so careful. They literally decide, okay, I'm stopping here, and that's it, they stop. So where are they pulling over to? So they'll see somebody on the side of the street and they'll slam their brakes on and say, beep beep, do you want a lift? They'll be chopping somebody off, they'll slam on their brakes and pull over, and they don't really make use of their night indicators, and as a result you have to be bloody careful. Like here, for example, any one of these cars to decide, okay, suddenly I'm going to go left. So really I'm going a bit too fast for that, but you have to be aware of that, and you'll say, oh, you have to be aware of that everywhere. Yes and no. I mean, in Europe that's much less likely to happen. I don't know about the States, but it's a lot less likely to happen. Here it's very, very frequent. They're like, there's no concept of getting in the right lane. So I'm turning left, I'll be in this lane. No, I'll be all the way over in there. And cut all the way across. There's all the buses picking up all the people. So you got metro buses, you got modern buses and old buses. Those old buses, bloody hell, the blue ones there. Sorry, so you've got the concept between private and public as well. So that purple one's a public one run by the government, and the other one, that green and blue one, was a private one. So some guy pays the government a license fee to allow him to drive that. And there's a massive difference in the quality of those drivers. Honestly, there is. The weather is finally getting nicer. There's a saying here in Turkey, some kind of idiom, which a very loose translation is, by the time March comes around you'll be burning all your wooden belongings. They mean by that, they basically mean that, you know, in February maybe you used to get a little bit fooled because there's some sun and it gets a little bit warmer, but then all of a sudden March comes along, and what happens? The temperature goes bloody mental, it starts snowing, and it's so cold that you're going to have to burn your furniture to keep warm. Well, we've had that effect early on. I'm just hoping this is not another part of that, because this is lovely. I did some more reading, by the way, about the camera that I bought, and good news is it's completely waterproof. Without a case. It does have a case if you want to go underwater itself, but it's got absolutely zero problems in snow and rain, so that's good to know. I'm looking forward to that. I also called them to double check. I'm like, yep, definitely 100% no problems. In case you're wondering, yes, I know that taxi was there, but you have to be a little bit aggressive here. Otherwise you have to take control of the road, which, yes, on a motorcycle can be a bit dangerous, but it's more dangerous to be weak here. I tell you what, when I ride my bicycle down here, it's a different kettle of fish. I'm doing about 45 kilometers an hour when I come down here on my bicycle, but believe it or not, you have to be even more aggressive on your bicycle. You know, you really have to command your portion of the road, because they have zero interest or clue in how to deal with a cyclist. They really don't. I mean, I don't know about everybody else, but if I'm a car rider, I treat a cyclist as a motorcyclist. I treat them as another vehicle, as a motorcyclist and as a car driver. Give them their space on the road, even if they're riding like idiots, jumping red lights or whatever. You still give them their portion, you know, if you see what I mean. So I don't like overlapping them. So if we come up to a traffic light, I'll be a bit careful about pulling up alongside them, mostly because I don't trust them. You know, I don't, just like I wouldn't trust a motorcycle, just like I don't trust cars. You know, who's going to pull out where, who they're going to let pull out. You know, you just have to be so careful with these things, and you know, why take the risk of injuring anybody, yourself, them, or anything else. So, but in Turkey, it's like, if you're a cyclist, you are the lowest of the low. Pedestrians have more, get noticed more than you do. So when I'm on my bicycle, the fact that I can maintain a speed higher than them along that road, for the most part, I mean, because that road has got a locked speed limit, but for the most part I can keep up with them at the very least, if not go faster than them. It allows me to command the road. But in Turkey, like I said in one of my other videos, the prevailing wisdom is still for them to basically come into oncoming traffic, and when I see them doing that, that just takes their risk to a whole nother level. I mean, you're basically signing your death warrant. The only reason why there aren't so many deaths is because there are so few people cycling here, really. So like when the weather gets really nice, I cycle from my home to work sometimes. I'll have to put the camera on for that and show you guys. Basically I cycle down to where the Bosphorus is, then I'll hop on a boat which basically takes me to Besiktas, and then I cycle this part of it and I'm at work. And that entire journey, if I get all the timings right, is about an hour and 20 minutes. The reason it takes more than that is because I spend 25 minutes on the boat. But yeah, actual cycling time is somewhere around the 40-minute mark, and then 45 minutes mark, and then getting on, getting off, and the boat ride itself. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's kind of nice to get a change, you know, sometimes get off the motorcycle, ride the bicycle, just refocuses your attention on the road, and you know, it's a different experience, you know, and I like to change it up because it's very easy to get relaxed and just say to yourself, okay, you know, it gets stuck in your ways, and that can lead to accidents, you know. So by riding a motorcycle, driving a car, walking, running, cycling, you just open up your eyes to the other road users and become a better driver and rider because of it. I mean, I would much rather be on my motorcycle all the time, of of course, because it only takes me 45 minutes to get into work. But got to try and get some bloody exercise other than mashing a keyboard is about the only exercise I get during the day. Although sometimes I go for a run or a walk along this beautiful stretch of water. Look at that, isn't it beautiful, eh? Very nice thing to say good morning to. That's right, old timer. I'm taking it up on the pavements. Istanbul rider. I was going to say peace out there, but actually, there you go, that's that building I was talking about. In the sunlight you can see a little bit better. So they basically rebuilt it exactly the way it was before. Wood. But yeah, I think it looks really nice. Really, really nice. And no doubt extremely expensive. Millions. Okay, there she is, all parked up, a little bit dirty. You dirty, dirty girl. I'll give you a clean later. Laters, alligators.